Right, yeah. Hello, everyone. Anyway, I've got a stream tonight about, members of Reeve Whitson's family basically contacted me out of the blue, having seen my stream, and told me about a cousin that they remember visiting Reeve visiting with a lot when they were a child, basically. And this guy was called Clyde Whitson, and yeah, I've been able to verify that it is true. He was his cousin, was Reeve Whitson's cousin, and he has quite an interesting career. So I just wanted to share him with you tonight, basically. Right. I'll get his actual obituary up, but rather than just reading that out, I thought I'd do a slideshow. But I'll show you the obituary. Scroll down, and that lists his military career and his FBI career. And in the end, it says he worked for the CIA. So yeah, I've just done a slideshow to show the main points, basically, of his obituary, rather than just read out the whole thing, just the obituary. So, right, yeah, we'll start out. Well, it says he served in World War II as a B-29 radio operator from August 1944 until June 1946. He was a retired reserve major, and I think you pronounce this Adjutant General's Corps, U.S. Army, October 1969. And an adjutant is a military appointment given to an officer who assists the commanding officer with unit administration, mostly the management of human resources in an army unit. So that's what that means, basically. And in 1969, it says he earned his BS and MS degrees from Purdue University in West Lafayette. He was a member of the Acacia fraternity, the Track Squad, and Scabbard and Blade. And I looked up what that was, just in case that's some kind of like Skull and Bone Society thing, but it's not. No, it's it helps people who are in the military, basically, to pay for. The purpose of the group named Scabbard and Blade is to unite cadets and midshipmen from over the nation into military excellence in Joint Service Honour Society. The society strives to better cadets and midshipmen as future officers and to strengthen the joint service relationship through service to the community and leadership opportunities. So yeah, it's just a military thing, basically. Oh, did that come up on the screen? This is the website, yeah, and I'll make sure this is linked in the description as well, so you can see this. But yeah, that's what it says on there. So yeah, he was in that. This was before 1969, obviously. And he attended graduate school at the John Jay College of Criminal Justice, City University of New York, 1968 to 1969. So he'd have been in New York in 1969. And he transferred to the seat of government as supervisor in 1969 and served in domestic intelligence, training, inspection, and criminal investigative divisions before appointment as assistant special agent in charge of Butte, is that Massachusetts MT, in 1976. Basically, so it's interesting that he gets promoted to doing training and criminal investigative stuff in 1969. And the cousin of his says that they appear to be having meetings with each other, basically. So it's like they were working. And when I looked at Operation Chaos last week, they were saying in their memos that there was older men training younger agents. So that just sounds interesting. And he worked, when did he join the FBI? Before he joined the FBI, he worked in commercial refrigeration, potato chip manufacturing administrator, Indiana State Soldiers Home, Lafayette, IN. So where's that? Prior to entering the FBI as a special agent in September 1961. So he was definitely in the FBI from 1961. So would have been in 1969. And he served in Birmingham and Huntsville, AL, Resident Agency, Monterey, CA, Spanish Language School, San Antonio and Del Rio, TX, Resident Agency, San Juan, PR, and New York City. And he retired in September of 1981. So yeah, he served all over the country. But he would have been in New York, basically, in 1969. And yeah, he doesn't work for the CIA, according to his obituary, until 1982. Yeah, he was a self-employed independent contractor with the Central Intelligence Agency from 1982 to 1990, and he was a consultant in criminal and civil rights matters. Is all it says in his obituary, basically. Yeah, so that's his credentials. And the relative who spoke to me said that it sounded sparse, the record of everything he did for the FBI. He did much more. But yeah, it doesn't. It says that he didn't work for the CIA until 1982. But I'm cynical about that. Alabama was one of the abbreviations, was it? Yeah. And what was the other one? MT. What would MT be? Sorry, I'm drinking Baileys as well tonight. I had to rush home for this because I don't normally do it on a Monday night, do I? Yeah, but I couldn't get StreamYard to work. Sorry about last night, everyone. Yeah, that was because I couldn't get StreamYard to work. And in the end, it did turn out I just had to restart my router when I finally did talk to StreamYard support and that. Yeah, that was what fixed it. Pain in the ass. But yeah, it's but that's just crazy, isn't it? Yeah. That and the cousin says that they did appear to be working together. But the sticker is there's no proof of Reeve ever working for the CIA or the FBI. He's got no military record or anything like that. So who the hell was Reeve working for? But according to this cousin, they had regular meetings. And obviously, yeah, he was close to Roman Polanski and Sharon Tate and all that. So, like, yeah, who the hell did he work for? Because he didn't work for the FBI or the CIA officially. Though this cousin of his did. And he used to regularly visit the cousin. And I wonder if Clyde was training him, basically. But, we can't prove that. It's just, yeah. Yeah. Let me just put my tea down. Where can I put it? There. Yeah, well, it was strange. Apparently, I think it's one of our kids saw the video on YouTube and said, oh, people are talking about Reeve. She started talking to me. Basically, yeah. But yeah, apparently I've heard that Tom O'Neill heard of Clyde and interviewed Clyde. So I want to know what if he's going to reveal anything about him in Chaos 2. Maybe he's saving it for Chaos 2. Because Clyde was still alive when he wrote the first Chaos, so he couldn't mention him or whatever. I don't know. I'm just speculating there. I don't know that for sure. I haven't spoken to Tom O'Neill. But people are telling me that Tom O'Neill did know about Clyde and did interview him a couple of times. But there's nothing about him in the in Chaos, is there? So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the results of any interviews were. Well, yeah, that's okay. Well, I just want to bring the information to people. And like I say, we've got the obituary for him. I'll make sure this is if you're in my group, then you've already seen this. Wrong thing. That one. There you go. Yeah, that's his obituary, and that gives you like all the basically what I just showed you. I'll get that back up on the screen. But yeah, he worked for the FBI from 1961. And in 1968 and 69, he was studying in New York. And he got promoted in 1969 to training and something else. I'll get it back up on the screen in a minute so we can see. And the relative who contacted me said she remembered them meeting up. It must have been in New York. I don't know if she's watching. Yeah, he is supposed to be writing Chaos 2, isn't he? And that's going to come out, hopefully. So, yeah, I want to see what he knew about Clyde. He looks like Hugh Edwards a bit, doesn't he? He actually fucking does, yeah. I'll get a picture of Hugh Edwards up on the screen in a bit so the Americans know who we're talking about. He's a newsreader. And he was just in some kind of scandal that turned out to be nothing. He turned out to be innocent. It was, a really weird situation. But yeah, he turned out that he hadn't done anything wrong. But they were making it sound like it was going to be as big as the Jimmy Savile thing, and then it turned out it was nothing. And it's ruined his career completely, and he ended up having to be sectioned because he was suicidal and all that, poor bastard. Hugh Edwards, should I get up? Oh yeah, let me get a picture of Hugh Edwards so you can see. Now we've said that. That's Hugh Edwards. He kind of does look a bit like him, doesn't he? Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, basically he got accused of sending inappropriate messages to a teenage girl or offering to pay her for nudes or something like that. But it turned out that he hadn't done that when they investigated it. But yeah. What was he intimately messaging with a 14-year-old for anyway? That is weird, isn't it? With a young girl, though, yeah, an underage girl. But yeah, it ruined his career anyway. And let's get back to the picture of Clyde. Oh yeah, I can just do that. That's the picture of Clyde. Yeah, he kind of looks like Hugh Edwards. I thought when I looked at him as well, if you look at the pictures of Reeve Whitson, the eyes there does seem to be a sort of family similarity between them. And his nose, it looks like his nose was broken at some point, doesn't it? His nose is sort of going the wrong way, as if he was in some kind of accident or something. What, Reeve Whitson? Well, he was supposed to be really good friends with Roman Polanski and Sharon Tate. That's the thing. It was Sharon and Roman. And so, people wonder if he was investigating them or whatever. But no one knows. No one knows really. But the fact that he had this cousin who he used to regularly meet with makes me think it was some kind of investigation thing rather than a criminal thing that he was involved in. But yeah, it's bizarre. It looks like he might have known Charles Winans as well. Who's that? Yeah, he does kind of look like a newsreader. Yeah. Because, the relative said quite a lot, but she was only a child when all this was happening. So I'm going to talk to her more. I might do some kind of interview with her in the future. But it's quite traumatic recalling it all because of the murders. Though she doesn't know anything about the murders really, but she recalls hearing them saying things to each other after the murders had happened. That all sounds very disturbing. But yeah, my impression is that maybe Clyde was training or handling Reeve in some way, but for who and why I don't know, because there's no record of Reeve ever being a government employee for the FBI or the CIA or the police or anything like that. So who the hell did he work for, and why was Clyde working with him? Yeah, it does say stuff about that. Yeah, he spoke Spanish. And Sam found something in the trial transcript that, what's her name? Barbara Hoyt said that they stayed with a policeman somewhere who was FBI and CIA. And it was at one of the locations where he lived. And so it sounds like that might be another connection. We've got to find that, yeah. Like I say, there'll probably be more. Winans sold drugs to Tex Watson in Carmel. Did I put that on the screen? Winans was there. According to the cousin, they did. They had regular meetings and they were close. But there's no evidence, no hard evidence. Like they weren't both FBI. Only Clyde was. So we've only got the relative's word for it, sort of thing. But I can't see why they've got any reason to lie about it, because they're not making any money off it or like that. You know what I mean? It's not like they're trying to sell a book or anything. But yeah, Reeve used to regularly visit Clyde by the sound of things, for whatever reason. A private detective working for Polanski or investigating Polanski, I wonder, as well. Was he investigating what was going on there? And I wonder who he worked for, because I know people have speculated that he worked for Peter Folger as well. But yeah, like I say, we can only speculate. That's the crazy thing. There's no evidence of him actually being CIA or FBI or having any sort of military connection. I just went looking at the chat because, like I say, I haven't really got any more to give you now. It looks like she's not in the audience. If she was, she'd probably watch it on Facebook. But yeah, I do want to interview her. But like I say, she was only a child at the time all this happened. And she just overheard conversations and she didn't really understand what was being said. But, looking back on it now, she reflects on it and has, given it meaning. But it's strange. But yeah, we have our word that they did meet each other a lot, and yeah, Reeve came to him for advice and help or whatever. And from the way she talks, she makes it sound like her whole family were involved with the FBI and the CIA, and they had a tumbling act as well. If people heard this, the Whitson family were in the theatre, and they had a tumbling act. And yeah, I've got another photo of Reeve Whitson as a child. Actually, I'll get my Facebook group up and show that. The other stuff she gave me. Sorry, just give me a second to find it. Gone straight to media. That's it. See that one? Yeah, the boy. That's Reeve Whitson, apparently, and his other cousin. And the cousin I was talking to was much younger, so she wasn't even born yet when this happened. That's his cousin and presumably his uncle. Yes, it was meant to be on last night. Is that you, Pat? Sorry. Yeah, I ended up. I couldn't get StreamYard to work, so I did it. Yeah, no, that got showed not to be him. That got debunked. Yeah, that was some other guy. That was an actor. It's just a weird coincidence that he looked like the photo of Reeve in disguise, but no, that actually wasn't Reeve Whitson. Yeah, it is a weird bit though, and I believed that for ages, but no, someone showed me proof it wasn't him and showed who it actually was. Yeah, as well, because yeah, I didn't even realize I had this. I don't know if I've shown it on the stream. This is just a clip of what it says about Reeve Whitson in Chaos. This is in my group. I'm gonna put it up on the screen now. Where is it? Oh yeah, I have to go like that, don't I? There. I'm gonna read it out. Yeah, this is what it says in Chaos about Reeve bringing the photographer Hatami. At 7 in the morning on August the 9th, 1969, Hatami got a frantic phone call from a friend. Rubbing sleep from his eyes, he listened as the caller delivered the terrible news. Sharon Tate and 4 others had been murdered in her home on Cielo Drive. Afterward, in numb terror, he and his girlfriend switched on the radio and listened all morning for further reports. They had to wait a while, as Hatami later learned, that the call came 90 minutes before the Polanski maid had arrived at the house, discovered the bodies, and ran screaming to the neighbours, who called the police. Unwittingly, Hatami had become one of the first people in the world to hear about the murders, all because of his friend. That friend was Reeve Whitson, whom Hatami characterised as a mystery man, a phrase I'd hear a lot as I researched him in earnest. A close friend of Tate and Polanski, Whitson had a talent for discretion, and when people remembered him at all, he was usually on the periphery, coming and going, his purpose unknown, his motives unscrutable. So yeah, because the other day, people were asking me questions about that, and I didn't realise I even had that. But yeah, that's what it says about Reeve phoning Hatami on the day of the murders. So it suggests that Reeve Whitson was one of the people that was up there before the police, obviously, doesn't it? Along with potentially half of Hollywood at the time. And Mama Castor apparently told people she was up there. Basically, that was all I had to say about him for tonight. But like I say, I will talk further with the relative to see if we can get together an interview. To sort of organise the things that she said, so I can tell you. But yeah, I'm interested to see what Tom O'Neill got out of Clyde, and if it's just because Clyde was still alive that he couldn't publish it in Chaos, the first one, and if he'll talk about it in Chaos too. Yeah. So that's it, yeah, because this is a weird stream as well. I've done it on a different night, haven't I? But yeah, I might just end this one and come back and do an after show. Sorry. So if the CIA Reeve knew, could they be who moved the bodies? Yeah, well, he was there when the bodies were being moved and knew why. And I've heard from the relative that Reeve thought he might be a target. I don't know. Yeah. Well, I've got a photo of Doyle, but I can't show you it. They won't give me permission to show it. Yeah. But in a crazy fucking coincidence, he looks exactly like the guy who did Are You Going to San Francisco? Scott McKenzie. is the spitting image of the photo of Billy Doyle that I have. So if you wonder what Billy Doyle looks like, it's fucking Scott McKenzie, the guy that did Are You Going to San Francisco? In a weird twist of events. But I think it really is just a coincidence. He can't be Billy Doyle. That makes no sense whatsoever, because Billy Doyle was interviewed by the police and everything. He was definitely a separate person. But it's just a fucking crazy coincidence. Billy Doyle looked exactly like Scott McKenzie, who did Are You Going to San Francisco? Yeah, that documentary he was talking about. I didn't put that up on the screen, did I? There was a documentary, yeah, with Dennis Hopper. I've seen it. Someone sent me the clip years ago. Yeah, the guy does look startlingly like the photo of Reeve with the hippie wig on. And that was the other thing his cousin said to me, was that photo of him with the wig, that's not what he normally looked like. That was obviously him in disguise. He normally was short-haired and didn't look like that. That's it, The American Dreamer, it's called. And it's like, yeah, just one of those movies that was just like, Dennis Hopper being followed around. And at one point he meets this weird actor guy who gives off a kind of a creepy vibe as well. He seems kind of fucking disturbing. And he looks like the photo of Reeve Whitson, but it isn't Reeve Whitson, apparently. It's proven who he actually was. He was someone else. Yeah. Yeah, but like I said, I think I'll end this one now because I haven't got much more to say. So it'll just be loads of dead air. And I don't know what I'm going to do this Saturday now, but I was planning to go live on Halloween night, Tuesday night. So yeah, change the schedule again. Though I might as well just do it on Sunday as usual. Who cares about actually being live on Halloween? But yeah, the next thing I was planning to do was a thing about Susan Atkins' testimony in court, what she actually said in court, because that's interesting as well. But anyway, yes, so tune in next week. And yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed and you're watching this on playback. Sorry, yeah. So I'm nearly at 800 subscribers now as well. I want to try and get to 800 subscribers before New Year. So yeah. Thanks for coming, everyone, anyway. And I'll get this edited and back up by tomorrow afternoon. Yeah, thanks for coming. Good night, everyone.